What's up, guys? That really gross guy here. We are back, and we want to talk about Devstream 107 today. I know you do. I know I do. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm pretty excited. So, just keep in mind that this weekend, if you're watching this right away, Borrow is out. Of course, just like always, there is a potato available for you if you want to run that mission real quick. And of course, the Prime Unbolting is still out, and that stuff is still available for you to go get. Just want to remind everybody that that is currently a thing, just to kind of get that little stuff out of the way. But anyways, let's get into the actual content, the juicy tidbits that we found out from Devstream 107. First off would be our double-handed katana that we are all super excited about. I know you are. Trust me, I am. But there are 5 concepts here that you can see. These 5 concepts were kind of looked over and revised, and it looks like they have selected one of these. And it actually is the one way up on the top that is circled. And here is another sketch of basically that katana actually fully concept out, kind of fleshed out and shown on a bunch of different angles. And I think it looks pretty cool. I like the colors. The colors remind me a little bit more sentient kind of an idea, so I'm curious as to maybe what path we're going to go down to get this weapon, or maybe it's just got a little bit of lore tied to it or something. I think that would be pretty cool. I can only hope that there's something cool tied to this weapon. Next up is just this little side-by-side. This is the katana actually attached to the waist of a Warframe. And you can see its size, just how massive this weapon is, and how it kind of rests on a Warframe's hip. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm pretty excited about the animations and all that stuff that will come out of this, and what kind of, really cool combos and stuff we could probably string together with this awesome double-handed katana. The deluxe skin, the Octavia deluxe skin, looks like it's being made. There's some progress made on that. You'll see a small video here with the deluxe skin on that. Also, at the same time, they also mentioned that there is going to be a katana-based Zaw, which is going to be... I'm super excited about that. It reminds me of the Zaw kind of concepts we got with the weapon creation contest a little while back, so hopefully we can get something cool out of that. And then there is also a scythe-based Zaw, which I think is going to be pretty cool. So kind of similar idea. Maybe those weapon concepts kind of inspired them to maybe do a little bit of the creations around the Zaws and stuff, so we can make our own custom weapons. So katanas and scythe Zaws are coming our way. Rebecca mentioned that she thought that there was going to be a hammer Zaw, so maybe that's in the works. I don't know, but some kind of blunt weapon Zaw I think would be pretty cool too. But anyways, those are the Zaw type deals, and of course the Octavia skin that you saw here. It's looking good. It's coming along really good, and you can see that it's pretty much rigged up and moving around and looking pretty awesome, so I'm excited about that as well. I also do want to quickly point out that they talked about the dark sectors, and we saw some footage last time about the way they were kind of working with dark sectors previously, and it looks like they didn't necessarily scrap that idea, but this endless type of, challenge mission type that they talked about last Devstream seems like it's actually not going to be the successor to Dark Sector after all. They said that they're probably going to implement it into the game anyways, but kind of as a different fun arcade mode that we can go through and do, hopefully with some good loot tied to it and not just for leaderboard purposes. So I don't know how I feel about that, if there's not going to be any loot tied to it, but it looks like they are still going to continue production on some sort of dark sector design in the game to eventually come out for us, but they ended up just changing their mind. They got some feedback from the community, and they changed their mind on what they wanted to do with this, so I mean, I guess that's alright. Next up, the assassination, the target, where you mark targets, like assassination targets or something like that. The Kingpin system, that's what they called it. And you can go after those guys. That supposedly made a lot of progress. That's something that you can do with your clans. You can kind of, research and select a Kingpin target or whatever to take down. and that supposedly made a lot of progress. They didn't really have anything to show for it, but they just want to let us know that it is on the way. Also, if you're a big fan of Captura, I am really excited that this is coming our ways because it's going to help me produce some of my videos. But there is a Captura-based camera system now that you're going, well, soon, that you're going to be able to set waypoints for your camera to move around, and it's going to allow you to very smoothly, kind of cinematically, move the camera across the Captura scene so you can capture a whole bunch of different images and stuff like that. I know that recently with my Tenogen videos and my fashion frame type stuff, that's going to be a really big help for me to actually make those videos a little bit higher quality, give them a little bit of a cinematic feel. So that's why I kind of, once I found that out, I kind of held off on producing those videos until I can get my hands on this new stuff. So if you're a Captura fan, this is for you. Alright, so now we're coming down to probably the most excited thing I'm talking about, or I wanted to talk about today, and that is going to be the Venus open world aspect of the game that should be coming out sometime in the future. I'm hoping by TennoCon. It would be really cool if we went to TennoCon and they're just like, they drop the mic at the end, they go, and guess what? Venus is now playable right now. We're just launching it. Or maybe Umbra at TennoCon, they go drop the mic, they just go, and last announcement, Umbra is now available to everybody. The new quest is out. That would be awesome, but hopefully that'll happen before TennoCon. I would be really happy if we can get our hands on at least one of these two before TennoCon comes out. And by the way, I'm going to TennoCon. I absolutely, hands down, gonna go this year. So if you're gonna go, let me know. But yeah, when it comes to Venus, we have a couple concepts, and let's first start off with kind of a landscape look at what Venus is going to kind of look like, at least from an early concept of what we can see here. And it looks pretty cool. It looks vibrant. It looks cold. They needed to kind of find a reason to actually take one of the hottest planets in our solar system and make it cold, because they kind of goofed when they made the planet system. I don't know, when they made the tile set for the Venus, whatever. But so they're kind of working with that and kind of making some changes. I want to show you guys here is the town, the civilization, kind of like we have Cetus on Earth for the plains of Eidolon. We have this location, this civilization that is on Venus, which is where the Corpus are apparently producing coolant of some sort for something we will talk about here in just a moment. But they're producing some kind of coolant, and you'll see all the little watery looking stuff. That's actually coolant, I guess, that's floating around there. Floating. It's not floating, but that's in the area. And these Corpus are kind of working against their will. They're kind of just like laborers, and they're not really happy. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be able to build some friendships and relationships with maybe the people here on Venus, and I think that would be pretty cool. But there was the colored concept as well, which was pretty cool. There was also the video, which you guys can see here. I think this looks great. This area looks really cool. If you look closely, you can see a little like maybe weapon shop or something going on here. It looks very, I want to say cyberpunk, but in a Corpus aesthetic, and I think that's super, super cool. I would love to one day, who knows if they're going to be able to push the game to the boundaries of the game that far, but I would love to see almost a city-style open world aspect of Warframe where you could actually travel through a city or an area like this and actually maybe even be killing Corpus that are coming in and out of maybe houses or shops or all sorts of stuff, or laboratories or some sort, to come out and fight you as a Warframe or something like that. I think that would be pretty cool. But and then I kind of mentioned it, and it's pretty much a go. They pretty much proved it, that the Corpus spider proxies that we saw recently are going to be on this new open world tile set, and these things look awesome. I am so excited to get to actually fight some of these things and interact with some of these. These look freaking awesome. So there's a little animation video for you guys to check out here with all the little, spider proxies jumping around, running around, and all that stuff. And the massive one. Don't forget that giant, massive spider proxy thing. Larger than the jackal. This it appears to be larger than the jackal and the harvester or whatever. These things look menacing, and I am super excited to start interacting with these things so much, so much. But here is a little. This right here is supposedly a giant, like, cluster of ice, I believe. You can see that there are these little ventilation shafts, or I think they look like ventilation shafts, but I actually think they are some sort of tool for levitating this giant cluster of ice. And they mentioned on the Devstream that they utilize this giant cluster, I think, to either it is how they get to create, they use it to create their coolant system, which I'm not too sure how that works, because the coolant, I think, is what these giant towers, these levitation towers or whatever, are using to, that, like, I think that's making coolant. So why would you use coolant to levitate a thing that makes coolant? You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that this giant ice cluster here is actually what has the city on it. You'll see this concept here, which is a little bit more fleshed out and looks more Orican. This thing looks like it could actually be utilized as some sort of structure to maybe build off of, and I think that's the way it's going to go. I think the city that we maybe venture out of, quest out of, is actually going to be harbored somewhere on this giant floating ice mass or something. I don't know. It looks pretty cool. But like I was kind of hinting at, these giant ventilation shafts or levitators of some sort that seem to be levitating this giant piece of ice. You can see here a concept of it in black and white, kind of sketched out. And then you can also see one here, which is fully fleshed out in color. And it looks, I don't think there's going to be too much, in terms of gameplay aspect that revolves around these things. Maybe we end up going in and out of one for quests or something like that. But I'm assuming these are kind of an aesthetic thing. These are just tied to the lore of how this giant ice mass is floating in the sky, or how the Corpus use it or something. I think kind of like we are familiar with the wall in the Plains of Eidolon that protects Cetus. I think that's kind of going to be a similar thing with these giant, levitators or ventilation shafts are. Not that they actually serve any real purpose other than just a lore perspective. So the spider proxies we were talking about, I'm assuming are going to be built here somewhere on Venus, because they talked about this giant construction facility, which they were talking about. Venus is going to be like a planet about mechs. Like this, we're going to be there producing, mech technology, or maybe the spider proxy / MOA technology or something is going to be based here. I wouldn't be surprised if actually the Ospreys that we have seen, there's the boss fight for the Ospreys and MOAs on different planets. So I wouldn't be surprised if Venus is going to be like the spider proxy planet, and then eventually where we fight Ambulus, we'll end up seeing the MOA planet, and then where we fight the giant, floating Ospreys, that might be somewhere, on its own. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see Venus geared towards some sort of high-tech kind of facility that produces these spider proxies. Between these few different concepts for giant Corpus, laboratories or facilities of some sort, maybe manufacturing facilities, that this is going to be a planet based on Corpus, production, electronic mech production of some sort, that they kind of hinted at on the Devstream. But I think it's pretty cool. I'm really excited for this. I mentioned previously that I was really excited about the direction they were going when it comes to open worlds. In a video I talked about, man, how cool would it be to see, a lot of height, in Venus. I would love to see, like, not necessarily distances, like the way the plains is a distance from one end to the other. I would love to see some distance in height in Venus, and I think it would be really cool if there were, there were some battles that were fought that required a little bit more, height advantage type battles. I don't know. I think it would be cool. Just my personal taste. I would love to know what you guys think about all of this information. What you're thinking, what you think Venus is going to end up like, what you like about this, what you dislike about any of this stuff that I've shown you guys. And I would love to see you guys again in another video. So feel free to like and subscribe. Every time you guys subscribe, I go and save a puppy. I just feel like it's the right thing to do. And every time you drop a like, I make sure that I feed those puppies. So if you want to save some puppies, feel free. Thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you guys again, like I said, in another one. Blow!